Welcome to the Frequently Asked Questions podcast. Fuzzy and Quincy.
Yes.
Buzz, today.
No, please follow, subscribe, like, share
I'm so sorry.
our YouTube page.
I'm so sorry.
Man, because we love it. We getting there. We growing. We showing.
I was so excited about our next guest.
I'm super geeked up about this one.
Because when you told me we have him, I said, dude, I remember he came to Philly one time. And I'm like, maybe he was high. But it was a panel. He was on the panel. His hair was, I was like, yo, that's the bull. That's how we talk in Philly. I'm like, that's the bull.
Yeah, the bull.
I'm like, he's here.
The bull. The GOAT.
The GOAT. Grammy Award winner.
Yes.
Songwriter. LA native.
LA native for sure.
I mean, he's worked with names like, what you want to put Jay-Z?
Insert name here.
Bruno Mars.
You say Beyonce. You say Chris Brown maybe.
Light names.
I mean, 1500 or nothing.
Yeah. We got to talk about 1500 Academy, Music Academy, all different things. We have James Fauntleroy.
Hey.
Bro, Fuzz, I'm not
very zenful. He's always very peaceful. I never seen you rah-rah. You've always been like this from day one.
Yep.
Yep.
How you doing, man?
I'm blessed, man. I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. I'm alive. I made it through the shit.
And still living.
Mm-hmm.
Still here, man.
Yeah. No, I'm not a big, you're the music nerd of the podcast.
Yeah, but he's a friend.
But this is, for me, I'm like, when you talk, I'm like, yeah, we got James Fauntleroy. He's coming.
Nah. And James, like, we want to talk to you and just kind of like, I want to hear some things I probably never knew about James Fauntleroy as an artist or as a writer. I'm sure there's some backstories that we haven't had a chance to even talk about. So I want to have a deep dive.
Yeah.
Of who is James Fauntleroy?
Yeah. First of all, how do you make a song? Because I've always wanted to make a song. Like, question. I hear certain music, I'm like, that's a line, but it doesn't make.
Yeah. What's the most important thing about songwriting?
Not being bad at it.
Well, how do you get good? You know what I'm saying?
Rule number 1, don't suck. Please stop. You get good same way as everything else. Practice.
Yeah.
Study. Mm-hmm. Practice. Repeat.
Yeah. All right. So you're from LA. Tell
them what part of LA you're from.
I'm from the hood. If you wanted to have a really specific technical definition, I live like on the border of 9-0 and 8-Ray.
Oh.
Yeah,
if you wanted to have get the GPS right. There was also some other strange little fledgling gangs in that area. But the Inglewood neighborhood was called Morningside Park, so it's also the border of Inglewood and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So you're from Inglewood.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's both technically, but it's like literally like the street I grew up on. This side was Los Angeles and this side was Inglewood. So
you saw the best of both worlds, as we call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go to Frank D. Parent?
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no. I went to Baldwin Hills for elementary school.
Okay.
I went to Orville Wright for middle school. And then I went to Laces for high school.
And that's a school that Parker, my daughter, graduated from.
Feel me? Shout out to Laces.
Shout out to Laces.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I guess is this like we're all the the people who are artistic? Is it one of those schools?
Not really. It was supposed to be like
many
years
prep.
ago. There were a bunch of smart students there. Now it's like incredible. I'm jealous of it.
Oh yeah, it's
now it looks like when I was there, it was looking really bad. Like it was
really?
bungalow. Oh yeah, like because all that money you seen, like the pool and the yard and the this and
it wasn't there when you were there.
Holograms and all of this shit, all of that. When I was there, the principal was embezzling all that money.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So like, our shit was looking really bad. It looked like what it was, which it used to be a old middle school, and then somebody bought it in the '80s and turned it into this 6 to 12 school, but. As soon as I left, literally the next year, they started building.
They started turning it up.
Glass shit.
I think it was. They was like, "Oh, James left."
Sculptures,
They was like, "James is going. Now we can
I
clean
actually
this
was
up."
an awful student.
Were you?
Yeah, I was really bad student. Just from Orville Wright until they asked me to leave Cal State Northridge. So
bad meaning as academically bad or
everything.
bad as
behaviorally bad grades.
Yeah,
just bad. In every sense of the word. But I was smart enough to know when to stop because all my friends was getting expelled. later going to jail.
Got it.
You know what I mean? But I knew like how to go all the way up to the edge.
Yeah.
And scale it back.
But you know what's funny? I was talking to somebody years ago, and I found out that you're an MC. You rap.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced I'm the best rapper alive. To be
And listen, bro. I've never heard James.
Maybe there's like 2 or 3 people that can rap as good as I can.
So, are you saying you're better than Kendrick Lamar?
No, he can potentially be in the list of people that's as good as me at rapping.
Okay, so what happens when you're in the studio working with a hip hop artist or a rapper, and you be like, bro?
No, because I think it's art. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna tell somebody that their shit is not art. You can do whatever you want with
Well,
it.
James, when's the last time you rapped? I've never heard. Is there anything on YouTube I need to Google of you rapping?
No, thank heavens.
Can you give us something?
There's absolutely no way. But what I can say, you can ask Lorenz when we met. Well, usually when we talk about when we met was in this shootout, but the time we actually had a conversation, he's seeing with his own eyes. I was like, it was because we the first time we had like a more than 2-minute conversation was at West Angeles in front of the church, because I was in the parking lot just obliterating people rapping, like, and this is when Eminem was popular too, so it was like,
so you guys were having a
ripping your
cipher
head off
around the
and
church.
reaching your torso, and it was right outside the church, murdering people right on the Lord's doorsteps.
So, there's no. Can we see any of this? Is there any?
I mean, the only proof I have is my writing career.
This is well. I mean that's very. I mean,
Okay,
we
that's
get
proof.
it.
That's a
that's the only thing I have.
What's harder, writing as a rap form or writing as in
songs?
Yeah, as a song.
Songs is infinitely more difficult. It's 100%. It's a lot easier to say everything you could think of than to break it down to only the most important words.
Really?
Oh yeah, so it's way harder to write a good song than write any level of raps that I've written myself, or even when I watch the process of other people rapping. It's just it's such a different thing, because like, you know, sometimes I explain songs as a rapper will be focused on what I consider a rapper will be focused on punchlines, for instance.
Because they want that a punchline is when they want that one lyric or sentence or phrase to hit.
Something that is a really good comparison.
Got it.
And so a punchline is one line, and a song is a whole line that's a punchline, a whole song worth of one punchline idea. So, you know, like I might say, you know, a punchline is a comparison. I will do this to you like this, and that's one line. If I write a song, the whole song I gotta think
Has to be that.
Yeah, of just that one point I'm trying to make. So it's a lot harder to do that.
Well, so what got you into songwriting? If you started off as a rapper or MC, like, what did you see on the songwriting side? Because I had this conversation with a lot of people that there's layers to not just being an artist, but you can be a producer, you can be a songwriter, a composer.
And we gotta get back to the shootout story too, because I'm like,
Yeah, because I want to hear about that.
yeah, but I'm sorry for
But
that.
like,
Yeah,
what
we
made
covered
what was the first thing that be like? I want you as a songwriter. What got you in the game as a songwriter?
Man, it was money. That was it. I found out that you can make money doing it. What? And so I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make something then.
And who told you this?
I just saw it with my own eyes. I think the first like real session I had was with Nissan at the old Universal Publishing.
Yeah, the publishing. So we're talking about Nissan Stewart, who's a drummer, producer,
Music director,
MD,
pastor.
He's a pastor, close friend of mine, and Nissan had a publishing deal. I know exactly the studio you're talking
It
about.
was Manny Edwards.
Yeah, Manny Edwards. Yep.
And I went in there and I was just looking around. And I was like, and looking at him, and he had like I forgot what SUV he had or whatever, but he just didn't look broke.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And I knew for sure I was broke, whether he was or not. And so then I just started asking questions like, what's going on? Like, you know, what's the
Are you
deal?
serious?
Yeah. And then when I found out that you can make money, I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. This is it.
What year was that?
That was probably 2005.
So yeah, Nissan was a part of he had Tweet cracking at the time. He did working with Aaliyah, Missy Elliott, Timbaland. Like he was in that circle doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him, Charlie,
Charlie, yeah.
Craig, It's a whole squad.
Yeah.
All right, so you get the game from Nissan. You're like, all right, I'm gonna start writing. So, how long did it take you to get the game from Nissan, and then say, okay, oh, this is how I break it down. This is the structure of it, and then you start presenting songs to people?
Well, I'm relentless. So I found out about it in 2005 and 2007. I had my first hit. 2008, I was a millionaire.
So 2007 was your first hit.
I think it was 2007. It was either 2007 or 2008.
What was that song?
No Air, Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown.
I've heard. I think I heard of it.
Changed your life.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that window. Like, there's 2 years that you were just figuring it out, and how, like, were there some things you thought that was about to take off? Not like Chris Brown and Jordan Sparks, but like, what was that process? Those two.
There's 1,000 little things like that that I thought was gonna be something that
I'm about to be on.
Yeah. Wow. I thought I was about to be on 100 times, and after that, it was even more mirage success that I thought I was gonna have. It didn't turn into nothing, but yeah.
So that song hits the radio. Jordan Sparks, Chris Brown.
Boom.
You are the only writer on there, or?
No, it was a bunch of writers. It was me and 3 or 4 other people.
Right.
Some of which didn't do anything at all. So we'll go into that story.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah,
because we have to talk about that. Cause
you breaking bread because you was in the room?
No. A lot of times, if you look at credits, sometimes you'll see a manager's name under there.
Yeah, so many things can happen in the world of publishing, but that situation was the birth of the idea that led to us having the school. Was that environment of.
So you've been a part of some bullshit deals.
Day one, yeah. Before even that, like I already was going through some crazy things, but my life before the music business was so, I can't think of another word than rough, that when I got to the music business, it was nothing to me. It was like, you know what I mean?
Because you went through.
I told you, me and Lorenz got closer in that shootout. So like,
can we talk about? Because
I have been around so many other things that the music business people weren't really.
Yeah.
He said 05. Nissan tells him this is how we make money. 2007, he writes No Air. 2008, he's a millionaire. Hold on.
So what about the shootout?
Yeah.
What the shootout?
Well, that was nothing. We've been, we.
Was it a 1,500 or nothing shootout?
Nah, we was at Lorenz could correct me, but I'm pretty sure we were at Acapulco. We were at Acapulco in Northridge, and it was like a party. And he'll know more about this part because one of our mutual friends started the problems at this party. But then,
God damn it,
it just was a lot of shooting. Now, somebody got killed.
Wow.
Like, as far as, they were probably 3 or 4 feet away from me at the thing. And when the police came, they were just hemming people up, and I got away. But Lawrence and the guys.
This is before you. So we're talking about Lawrence Dobson, the partners, the 1,500 nothing. So this is before 1,500. This is before you guys started doing business together.
Yeah. We knew each other,
right?
But it was after that is when we both were like, okay, let's
work together.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It was kind of it's just that crazy situation, and after that we got closer.
Wow,
that's crazy.
So hey, man,
it's like a movie.
But some violence do bring people together.
Yeah,
not only funerals.
Yeah. I get. Yeah, I don't want
that kind of. I don't want that kind of reunion. No, I ain't gonna front.
Yeah, nah.
I look at you different.
So, this 2-year gap, 2008. What made you a millionaire? What was the thing that pushed you over the top?
It was No Air. I mean, I remember this guy telling me when it came out, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's $1 million. That's $1 million." And I was like, "Nigga," but it actually, he was right. If I see him again, I'm gonna tell him. I ain't seen him since then. But
so did that give you a different? So I'm sure your phone is starting to blow up now because you're a part of this song that's. It didn't leave radio, like it still plays on the radio.
But how does his, and no disrespect, but how does your phone start blowing up when you said there's people on this record that didn't have anything to do with it?
That's a great question. Because another thing I tell people all the time about that, when a million people's names on the credits, especially at that time, I don't know if people still do it, but at that time, if your name's on a song, people never said co-wrote. They would just always be like, I wrote that, right? It'd be 8 niggas' names on the song.
Yeah.
And it's 8 niggas going around town saying they wrote that. And so it was, and I've seen it many times since then, but what happens is all 8 of us can say we wrote it, which then all 8 of us will get sessions. And then
the fire session come out of the
then that's it. Then once we all have the 8 sessions, that, you know, eventually you have to prove that was you that did that. So that's what happens in those situations. That's how it turns out.
Are all 8 of you guys splitting it equally?
No, it was different splits on that song. That song had a lot of drama. That was my first time witnessing how dramatic splits can become.
Got it.
It was wild. That was a wild experience seeing just, you know, 'cause this is my first hit song, but it's not my first time getting my publishing shaved off. But it was my first time watching them and everybody involved, how they were reacting and how they were just turning into hyenas about this publishing.
It's a big record.
You know, 'cause they knew what the money was. I had no idea, so I'm just like, I know I did this, so I need this, or I'll slap the shit out of everybody in here.
Right.
But, you know, I now know why they were so ravenous.
Dude. So Fuzz, you worked at labels, you know this side. For me, I've always look at the back of credits. I'm like, it says 15 people. All right, so I know those 4 people, they got it from the sample, and they had to put them on there as a writing. So this is like, these are the questions I
frequently asked questions.
Yeah, this is the stuff I always wanted to know, dog. So does that make you, after that record, like, you know what? If I'm going in with Fuzz, it's just me and Fuzz. Because I know how he was acting, you know, and he didn't do as much. He wrote 3 words and he's fighting. So does that make you more reserved?
Well, it's different. Like when I started, which this is usually not in a publishing deal now, I had something called a MDRC, which is a minimum delivery release commitment. All right. And so my first option was 3 songs, and then the next 2 were 4 songs. And 1 song in publishing is 100%. So it's, if you write a song, like let's say you do that, you say it's just gonna be me and Fuzz, which means you're splitting the 100%, 50% on the song. Mm-hmm. So if 1 song is 100% and I'm getting 50 on each, what we call a song, then it's gonna take me 6 songs to do 3 songs for that deal. Sounds simple enough, but it's rare that you splitting 50%. So when you're getting 5, 10, 15, it's people that are still in that same deal from over a decade ago because of how, the ratio. It's really cruel the way they word that to kind of to hold you in a contract for the rest of your life. And then on top of that, I had no less than 20 songs commitment throughout my deal career, the course of my deal. So that's 2,000%.
Damn. And
so I have probably more placements than almost anybody you guys will meet, but it wasn't just because I was just getting a bajillion placements. I was working so hard to fulfill all those commitments.
So you can get out of it.
Yeah. So if I get 10% or 15%, I need 6 of those for that to matter. So that's why I have.
And a song is a song. It doesn't matter if it's a single or an album cut. It still counts.
Nah, they had stipulations for that. If it was a bonus, they didn't want to count it. If it was Target exclusive, which they don't do that anymore, then they didn't count that. So if it was in a movie, they might not count it. It was a whole bunch of different things where unless it was exactly how they said it, then it wouldn't count. So
it's better if you are somebody like a Pharrell to get that deal. I'm like, all right, I'm putting out my own album, and I'll just produce
100%
my entire album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you could do that.
Yeah.
So you can fulfill the.
Let me ask a question.
They got something for that in that contract too, though. But
I'm sure they do. Yeah, because
that is you can't do that. But they'll put limits in your thing too of how many they count per album
or for other artists.
Yeah, so like I think I had a 3-song cap of how many would count, so I could only get up to 300% per album. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? So I was doing people's whole albums, and then I would just count that as 3 songs in my mind and move on to the next thing.
So, okay, let's talk about this on the business side. Since we're going down that lane, like, you're considered a top line writer. Is that the terminology, or what is that? What is how do you
top line is it's a bunch of these random terms. That,
I just hear the top line.
Yeah, usually that's like I only hear that like in Europe or like an older person maybe might say that. No. Maybe in Nashville you might hear that.
Yeah. What do they say now?
It's just writer.
Okay, you're a writer.
Yeah. But
now, do you have a
top line is what I do. It's the melody and the lyrics on top of the music. That's what that phrase means.
So top line is a phrase. Okay, so it's
an
actual
phrasing. Really fancy when you said that just now. When it came out, it was like, okay, let's get the top line guy.
You're creating the melody. Mm-hmm. So you hear the beat and they like, all right, we gotta bring James in here because he gonna put this. He gonna make it do what it do.
Yeah, with my hands.
The point I was trying to make was. So as a songwriter, do you just wait for your publishing to get paid, or do you have a fee to even walk into a studio?
Songwriters are
different?
Traditionally not paid, so I get paid the least of everyone. The engineer gets paid every session, studio gets paid,
the producers
get a fee, management gets commission. I only get paid if it is successful. So even if it comes out and it's not successful, like it's a bunch of people's albums I worked on that. Which is so funny how they be acting like they're getting on their album is such a big deal. But there's so many people albums that I worked on that is less than my car note right now. The whole like lifetime of the album. Yeah. It's like I can't even take y'all to a nice fancy lunch that y'all deserve for knowing top line and doing hand.
So for a songwriter, so you're telling me so a songwriter has to have a hit record to even see some loot.
Like to really become rich. Although, and this is part of what we try to expose the students to at the school, there are other ways, like writing for television and film, done correctly, you can make millions of dollars. That could be really lucrative business. But for, as far as like running around trying to get on this person's album and that person's album, you have to have hit songs, which now could be hit streaming or hit on YouTube or whatever. But otherwise, you're just not going to be able to be rich, and you might not be able to survive, which is why another thing we say all the time is we talk about how short the lifespan of someone like me or a producer is in the game. It's like 3 years is the general amount of time.
Yeah.
And 5 years is like, oh, you killing it. And so now we're 15, 16 years in.
Yeah.
And so now that's when it starts being something else, because almost no one that I know that I started with is still active, which I don't blame them. I don't consider them off. I feel like being off is a state of mind.
Yeah.
But that's the facts.
Do you think, or do you know? I know a James Fauntleroy sound, or inflection is maybe. You may add some color to some music.
Swag sometimes.
Swag.
Sauce.
Yeah, so not only as sometimes you're the writer, you write certain things, but they'll ask you to sing or add something to the song, right?
Usually people don't ask me, I'll sing it for the demo to give them the song.
Yeah.
And probably 75% of the time my vocals just end up somehow magically on the song.
So it'll stay. They'll just like, take James doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have
don't ask me.
and this is about to be a bad James Fauntleroy analogy or imitation, but he'll do this. Ooh.
Yeah,
you have some kind of like.
That's what I do too.
Some oohs. You have some oohs.
Mm-hmm.
What is that called?
Singing.
What is that called? Singing. But it'll be harmony. It'll be harmony.
Arranging. Yeah, my arrangements are.
But it's signature
popular.
though.
All right.
Have you heard anybody try to bite that sound or the stacks you do?
Yeah, I think, just like when I came in, it was writers that were successful that I was trying to get some money, so I was trying to figure out whatever they was doing so I could do it.
But you wasn't going,
I had
like the Dream?
time, man, if I could figure out what the Dream was doing, I would be doing that shit right now, right in front of y'all.
Dream was he was smart doing
making sounds right now, right for you. Take this shit, Umbrella too, if I could, but I couldn't, so I had to make my own shit. My same thing as me trying to figure out how to do the Dreams formula or whoever else. because he was so successful or is so amazing. People do that with me. If you read my shit, I've worked with so many people that understandably so many people in the creative community will want to emulate my style. I'm guessing one, they like it, but also because it's popular and it works. It seems to be working for me. And I think there's some things that they're not picking up from listening to all my old shit, which is another reason we opened the school, so I could tell them the rest of the things that they're not just picking up automatically.
So, all right, because we got to talk about the school. Let's go to a song. Let's go to "That's What I Like" by Bruno Mars.
Yes.
It wasn't. I don't know if you know this, but it won Song of the Year.
Where at the NAACP?
Well, at the Grammys.
Oh, the Grammy Song of the Year, the Grammys. Got it.
And best R&B song. So
that's two Grammys. Well, how many Grammys do you have?
4. But one of my 4 Grammys is the album of the year. I'm the only songwriter to get that, like pure songwriter, meaning usually only producers can get the album of the year Grammy, like producer, engineer, and artist. And so a songwriter has never gotten it in the whole history of the Grammys. A songwriter friend of mine was on the committee that changed the rule that if you write 51% or more of an album, you're eligible for album of the year.
Yeah.
And so I was the first one to get it, and no one has qualified since. So I'm the only pure songwriter to get an album of the year Grammy ever.
Come on, Fuzz. I don't know if you
that's
just
a bar, bro.
That's a bar. He just,
until somebody else slides in.
He just defecated on something.
And he's a black man.
Calm. Hold on, dog.
First writer.
You're the first writer.
That's big.
To win Album of the Year for the Grammys. A black kid from Inglewood.
That's big.
First pure songwriters. It's songwriters that were producers. Also, and they may have gotten it because they had production credit. Yeah, but they didn't get it for writing the songs.
And what album is that? To be clear,
24 Karat Magic.
With Bruno Mars, huge. Shout out to the Stereotypes.
Oh yeah, my niggas.
Those my guys. So all right, Ray, John, what's up? You hear the instrument. So you hear that's what I walk us through. That's what I like. You come into the studio, you hear the song, and you start doing this. What happens?
I literally did that with my hands. I walked in, and I just became a Marion, just right on the spot with my hands, chest thing, everything. No, we don't talk about it too much because it's an ancient ghetto secret.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The whole process. But what I will say is, the first day I walked in, that's what was playing, was that song, the music for that. And then we worked on the album on and off for, I think, a year and a half, 2 years. And the last week, in the last week, we were still working on that song. Wow. So it was basically a 2-year process working on that song. And I had never, most of my songs, because I've written so many songs, I've written thousands of songs. I used to write 5 songs a day trying to get some money. And so I had never written a song for a week, let alone for that span of time. Yeah. And also I never swept the Grammys. I never got you know what I mean? So like I learned a lot of good things in that opportunity.
For working with Bruno Mars.
100%. Like, so one thing I feel like people don't know about, it's a couple of superstars that they won't say for whatever reason, because I'm always talking to them like, nigga, like I wish people knew how much he does. But he's not just sitting there like,
oh, he's hands-on.
Oh my God, he's not in no way just sitting there like make me a hit with his feet up with a long cigarette. He's like, this nigga is really in there driving it. You know what I mean? As he should. It's his shit. But you know what I mean? Yeah. He's really
pushing the envelope.
Yeah. Versus like, which it doesn't make you better or worse, but I do think it's important to note that he is when I met him, he was just purely a songwriter. So
already,
he's like, we know him so long. He's 1500, like on the low. He's like he's a OG part of our little group of people, but which also makes him an incredible artist to work with, because almost no artist knows what a songwriter is going through. Almost no artist like has had their splits fucked up because of an artist, and so that's another reason working with him is unbelievable. Because,
Fair business.
Oh my God, it's just unprecedented. It's nothing like that, and it's not always the artist's fault. Although artists, your team is a reflection of you. So if them niggas is going around fucking people, you might be nice and all that shit is great, but it still reflects on you. And I'm just telling you through this podcast that we are judging y'all asses.
We see you,
even though we like you and we know you didn't do it and it was your manager and it was this and all that shit. But it stings when a big artist steals your publishing, which they take your publishing because their management, their whoever knows that they can go get a huge publishing deal if they shave some points off your publishing. So if it's a major artist, they're going to take X amount of publishing so that they can build a catalog of value, which they'll then go sell. Maybe one day they'll sell the catalog, whatever, right? So a really valuable catalog on the highest end, you might sell, I'm talking about the highest high, you might sell for $100 million or something. And that's the most extreme. Yeah. More common is like 10 to 20 million for your catalog. This if you sell your publishing. So that's how much money they might be thinking of. Is if it's the biggest catalog ever, it's 150, 100 million, which that's a lot of money. And then you know, a typical successful catalog is 15, 20. Okay. These guys are making 100 million a year. You know, making hundreds of millions of dollars on tour.
You talking millions like we talk about $10 bills.
And I'm just saying they making so much money, and we know that too. So when you're stealing our publishing that could feed our family and change our lives and change the community, and you're taking that for an extra 10 million on top of your 500 million, that's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Got it.
That's one thing I could say. Here we go for the first time publicly. Bruno is the complete opposite of that. Like, he does not play that shit. It's just ridiculous. It's like he's so fair it's unfair. He just, you know what
like
I mean?
Really?
Yeah, it's
like that
in
means
your favor. Like, you know,
that means you would show up anytime he calls.
Well, that's my nigga too. So you know, I'll go do whatever. If we're doing a ringtone or you know what I mean, he need a song for his nephew's birthday, I'm down.
And speaking of Bruno, I know also Brody, who's a part of 1500, is also, he's a bass player, but he's producer. He's about to shout out to Brody. He's about to do his own project. So how does 1500, like, now you got Brody involved? Like, Brody's a part of the video. He's in. Why? Were you in one of the Bruno Mars videos?
I did like a commercial for the liquor.
You did that,
not too long ago.
Right.
Yeah, we out here, all of us.
Man, this is, I mean, like you said, for us, James is up here like, yeah, well, they're making $100 million a year. Good catalog, 10 to 15. So it's like almost a double-edged sword when we hear, oh man, you killing it because you're working with this big celebrity, and it's like, yeah, but they taking all of the some of my publishing to do X, Y, and Z.
It's a significant amount. It's I probably wouldn't even say it if it was even something smaller, but they'd be like really, you know. Also, people don't do that to me anymore.
They can't.
I mean, I always been outspoken though. Like day one, first time a nigga tried to do that to me, I was like in his face, you know. And then also I learned that sometimes it's not worth the fight. I remember my first time having to deal with that on my own. It was shortly after No Air, and I worked with this producer. And I wrote the song alone, which I was like, hell yeah, because my MDRC was fucking insane. So I'm like, yes, nigga, fuck y'all. And the dude was trying to take like 20% or something. And I was like, oh no, I wrote that shit. You was there, I was there, we was there together, but you was over there and I was over here.
I had the pen in my hand.
Yeah, and he was like, well, I changed the bridge or whatever his justification was. And so I said, okay, that's what we're gonna do. This is young James too. I was out of control for sure back then. But I was like, this is what we're gonna do, man. I'm gonna let you take this publishing and then fuck you, right? Forever. Don't talk to me ever again. But we cool though. I'm not gonna do nothing. We gonna be friends, but just from really way far, and we never gonna talk again. But we
really?
Cool. Yeah, I was like, we cool. Just you can have it, right? Yeah. And I was like, but don't ever call me again though. Like, don't ask me for nothing ever. And he was like, no problem. So I was like, all right, cool, peace. Month later, I had more shit coming out. I'm getting bigger and bigger. This is in the beginning of my career.
So stuff is starting to
I
hit.
ain't never had nobody call me as much as this nigga trying to get me to come back in and work with him. And so I just been doing that for the rest of my career. Like, I'm not going to do too much complaining. I'm going to just watch, see how you do, and then make my decision on whether or not I think it's a good idea to do business with you.
Wow. No,
And then maybe it never matters again.
yeah.
You know, maybe you got your little whatever, and we going about our business. But you know, I've gotten a lot of repeat business, and a lot of repeat requests that I've turned down because the business was fucked up. You know what I mean?
Damn.
What's a song that you wrote? I think they're all. I'm guessing they're all your babies, but you're like, man, I didn't think that was going to do.
That was going to take off.
Yeah.
All the ones that was hits, I knew they was gonna be hits. You know
Really?
what I mean? Yeah, and
Is
all
it
the ones
like
that flopped, I knew they was gonna flop.
You knew something like, damn, this ain't good.
Yeah. I'm super honest with myself.
Can you be honest? What's the one that you thought was going to take off and it did, and what's the one that didn't take off that if somebody was going to Google or
Well, the ones that didn't take off, they never had a chance because
probably promotion, marketing?
they didn't even become singles. You know what I mean? Because the higher level artists you get, the more control they have over what songs are the singles, and they may or may not be amazing A&R. Like you know, one of the best A&Rs in human history, in my opinion, is Rihanna. Rihanna is.
I like Rihanna, man.
Just,
let's talk about Rihanna.
yeah, just a pure,
Sweetheart.
just genius as far as picking a song. And I don't know who could fuck with her, to be totally honest. You know what I mean? And,
So when you say A&R, like I'm thinking he's about to say Dallas or whoever. Like no,
well, my other favorites, I have a couple of favorite A&Rs, but you know.
but Rihanna is an artist. But you saying she A&Rs her own music, so she can just do what she wants.
Well, she can do what she wants, period. So she could pick something fucked up if she wanted to. Also, one of my top A&Rs of all time is Tata as well.
Shout out to Tata.
Yeah, he's like
Jay-Z's Tata.
yeah, next level taste and
Yeah,
like
for sure.
knowing what's a good song, which that's really rare. But yeah, she's just outrageous.
How many Rihanna albums have you worked on?
4, I think.
Okay, and let's also talk about.
I got like 14 Rihanna songs.
You wrote like 14?
Can you name
I think
some?
so.
Can you name some?
Because I used to know by heart. But
What's the
it's been a long
biggest
time.
single that you think you wrote for Rihanna?
I don't think I have any. They released a song called Te Amo, but not in America. It was only in Europe, so they didn't really give that a shot.
So
Honestly,
that went
hated on whole
overseas,
album.
and you still see money from that.
Oh yeah, 100%. That album, like, that was a major lesson too, because like, you know, she wanted me to work on that album. I did 6 songs on Rated R album.
One of my favorite albums.
When I finished, which this is her being A&R, she was like, "This is the guy I want to do my shit." They took it to the label. The label was like, "Who the fuck is this? Who is this nigga? Like, where's the song from this guy? Where's the song from this guy?"
Def Jam.
And so they ended up not wanting to release any of my songs because I was not a famous writer. And then honestly, the other songs from the album didn't do well. They promoted it for like for instance, Good Girl Gone Bad was promoted for 2 years. They had a whole long ass rollout. She went on the road, which, you know, being on the road is really good promotion for your album sales.
Goddamn right.
Radio campaigns, the whole deal.
Yeah.
Rated R, they worked it for like 3 months, literally. It still ended up selling 3 million with 3 months of promo, and then they immediately went to the next album because they considered it a flop. And you know, but because of that album, I ended up working with her for the rest of her shit.
So how did you guys even connect? Like, how does Rihanna get James Fauntleroy on her radar?
Let me
Well,
just Te Amo.
Yeah.
Wait Your Turn, Firebomb, G4L, Cold Case Love, the last song,
Yeah.
Get It Over With, Hole in My Head featuring Justin Timberlake. Just a couple.
But she named a song after you too.
She did. It's called James Look Like It.
Did you know that?
No.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
No.
She wrote a song. I mean, you probably wrote a song.
I wrote the song.
You wrote a song, and she titled it after you. And what's the name of the song?
James Joint. It's about smoking weed. I smoke weed.
You do smoke weed.
The most.
Yes.
You don't smell like it though, which is shocking.
I smell expensive. But
That's a bar.
also,
That's the clip, my dick.
also, one of the notes, that's when you're talking about smell, his notes, one of the notes in the odor
Okay.
is weed. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It was a little bass note. But what was the question?
I was asking, how did she write?
How did I like connect with her?
How did you connect with her, and why did she say this is James' song? It's James.
Well, actually, what it was I'll tell the story as quickly as I can. Like, I went to the studio. The producer was a dude named Shay Taylor, who I love to death. Rihanna's engineer is one of my favorite humans on the earth. This dude named Marcos. So it was a real comfortable environment. Even though Rihanna's team, shout out to Omar too, will tell you, don't give us a Rihanna song. That's like the number one brief.
Omar from a Rock
Yeah,
Nation.
it's when you come in here, don't give us a song that you think sounds like Rihanna.
Because it's there.
And so I'm walking through the studio, and everybody is doing exactly the opposite of that. Everybody is doing the AAA, trying to do Umbrella 2, you know, Poncho or whatever. That was the subtitle. Yeah. And so I go in there, and the producer, which you know, and Shay pulled up like the type of song that everybody was doing. And I was like, no, because Shay Taylor is a genius jazz musician also.
Really?
Yeah, so I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing a trap song with you. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to do it. As a matter of fact, play me the most complex thing in your whole computer, please.
Challenge me.
Yeah, I was like, what's the most, you know, complex jazz composition that you could pull up? And so he pulled up that music, and then I went in the booth, wrote it out real fast too, and then I just left. You know, I just dropped the mic. I was like, you feel me? I was like, this is what I do. So I'm not doing all this trap shit. I do this, right? That's how I felt when I walked out. But when I walked out so abruptly, I didn't name the song. So the engineer titled it James Joint because it was no title, Marcos. And so then when Rihanna saw it, it was so ironic because the song's about weed. I wrote it. And she loves weed. And they were like, what? Oh, yeah. And they were like, what should we call it? And then that's when it officially became James Joint on the album.
Dude. You know what? I couldn't be a songwriter, bro. You know why?
Why not?
Because working with people like Rihanna, I want to hug them and kiss them and do my.
That's illegal. What you talking about?
Once you illegal? Nah, fuzz.
You can't
hug.
You can't be you wearing sweatpants hugging Rihanna.
Bro, I wear 2 pairs of underwear. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying this, bro. I'm just saying I would want to. I've known that people fucking for tracks, whatever. I'm just saying. I'll probably would.
Have you give it up?
Probably, huh?
You give it up.
Have you ever been offered sexual relations for a song?
Hit record?
No.
Damn, you strong. You got a strong will, my brother.
No, I haven't done that.
You never dated an artist before?
Oh no, no.
You seen it go left?
A million times.
Doesn't and
then actually, when I started in the business, somebody told me this story about this dude that was working on an album. And he had wrote like the whole album, and then he decided it was a good idea to date the artist. And I can't remember his name to tell y'all because he never was successful. Because when they broke up, it took all his songs off the album, and he never did nothing after that. And so I heard that story when I first started. So
no, you just want to be the homie.
Matter of fact, now I think about it, that same artist did try to talk to me.
See?
So you're right, that did happen.
Do you think we'll ever get another Rihanna album?
Yes. I know you're not asking me, but I know they are working on something.
Well, she's got material. There's no question about that. But I don't know. I mean,
that Fenty's popping right now, my G.
I think what it is she could just do whatever she wants, and she's just not ready yet. So when she's ready, we'll get it.
But whenever she does drop, it's a movie.
It's over.
It's always.
It's the end.
I'm just looking
when it comes out.
I'm looking through your titles. We have a song called Suit and Tie.
Yes.
Jay-Z and
who's that? Justin? JT?
Yeah.
That's right.
Justin Timberlake.
My nigga.
Did you write on that album he was dressed like a lumberjack?
I think I have one on there.
I didn't like that album.
Yeah, that was.
Sorry.
He tried something different though.
It tried. It didn't work for me. I want him to get back on this nigga shit. Let's come back on the. Let's get the soulful JT back. I want that. I want him in his bag and
in a nigga bag.
The nigga bag, so like the N-word bag, like
a Telfar. You gonna put him inside of it and just
like he makes good like that. In the time, whatever that record is, the ballad.
Can you sing a little bit more for us?
You wrote that?
No. I wish. What?
That record was a slapper.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying. I want that Justin Timberlake. Are you working on this new album?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's my nigga, to the end.
So wait, how do you schedule James Fauntleroy when everybody's in like working on like if Bruno's working on something with Anderson .Paak, they're working right now. Do you bounce to multiple sessions or do you leave LA then go to New York or Miami then come back for a session?
I really try to do the least. I used to do that when I was young.
Used to travel.
Yeah, it was constant traveling.
So it's best for people to come to you in your environment.
They can do whatever they want. I'm not going though. It's very rare that I leave town.
You're the Black Rick Rubin.
Yeah,
and you're not. Not going to write at home and send it either.
I will maybe do that.
All depends who it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, he's doing the Rick Rubin thing.
What's the Rick Rubin thing?
You know how Rick Rubin, Rick Rubin stays in Malibu and everyone comes to him and he's
That's a nice studio. What's that called?
Shangri-La.
You've been there before?
I went one time to the Outskirts house. Amazing.
All right, so James, do you have a Shangri-La?
Well, I'm building one now. I got a 20,000 square foot building.
You haven't been over there
in Inglewood.
I got to take you over there. It's amazing, bro.
All right, so
every time I go over there, I see some new. I got to put a hard hat on and walk around.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just, because you're saying this stuff like you're the first songwriter, pure, black. Like I put that in there, pure black songwriter to get black. But
pure
not
black as well.
Pure black.
He's a brother
to get an Oscar. To get an Oscar to get a Grammy.
Not yet. I want
Oscar's
one,
coming.
Shout out to D-Mile. He just got an Oscar.
D-Mile just got an Oscar. He sure did. Yo, he's a co-producer.
I love D-Mile, man.
So tell us about the Academy, right? Mm-hmm. So if I want to learn how to be a songwriter, you're teaching me.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there every day, but
you're a part of that.
I do.
Your DNA is
and literally talk to the students myself, and also me, Lawrence, and some others have been developing this curriculum for 4 years now, so it's getting better every year. So
they built out a whole facility in Inglewood, bro.
So do you have graduating people that have gone through this course and like they're making money?
Yeah, that's the best part by far. Like that's one of the best things I've ever seen. We just had the grand opening, which is the post-pandemic opening because everything was online. Last year, and we had a bunch of alumni students come and talk and I don't know what they're going to say. We just had them get up there and to hear them all talking about the jobs they had.
What?
And some of them had jobs that they didn't even know about, or not that they didn't know, but that they weren't considering before they got to the school, which is a big part of why I wanted to do it. So that's the most fulfilling thing I got going on is looking at those people come through there and then go get a job, or even whether we helped or not, because who knows, but hearing somebody feel like we contributed to their thing, like it was people that went on tours and shit like that, and it's like maybe they would have went on a tour anyway, but to hear them say, I had this conflict and I dealt with it, I knew how to deal with it because of this class, or I had this business situation that I knew wasn't right because of this class or whatever.
That's dope. So how many classes to I guess get a certificate or graduate?
It's a 6-month program.
Okay.
But then also you can pick a discipline. So it's 6 categories: songwriter, producer, engineer, artist, managers, etc. And then you can either pick one or you can come and what I suggest, which is learn
everything.
Yeah.
You should.
Dude, this is gonna be the alternative. Like, could you imagine? Some people have to go to school, go to college, and not really do what they want to do.
I wish this was around when I was trying to figure out stuff.
Me too. Shit, that's why.
You did it. Yeah. Like I would have went. That would have been. I would have been there.
Wow. Look at some of these names. Kendrick Lamar. You've worked with Kendrick. You worked with Big Sean. You worked with Snoop.
Snoop. That was the first person we worked with. Shout out to Snoop. Kicked us off.
And what was that project?
It was Welcome to the Church.
Welcome to the church.
Remember that with the 500 views?
Yeah, it was like a mixtape.
Oh, did Terrace work on that?
Yeah,
Terrace
Terrace is the
definitely
one
was.
that gave him our song.
Yeah. Shout out to Terrace Martin, who's been on Frequently Asked Questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely talked to him. So, okay, so James, what's next, bro? I mean, it seems like, because here's the thing about you.
He's in the room with everybody.
And you can walk down the street, so you can still have your sanity, right? It's people. If people know you, it's like they know music, right? So you can still have your freedom to move around, do everything, go in the studio, work with these, megastars, and roll and do whatever you want to do. So what are the next things? I heard you're into animation.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's heavy in the Japanese animation.
Yeah, anime is my favorite
Yeah.
thing to watch, but I also 3D model every day. Like before I came here, I just did a bunch of rendering. So
At the house or like
at the house.
So what do you mean 3D renderings? Like, is that a 3D rendering?
Well, I did design this, you know what I'm saying? But nah, it's like 3D, 3D shit like you see in the movies.
So do you and Will I Am ever have big conversations about things?
I just met him like 2 weeks ago.
Shut up.
I went to his facility.
His facility's
Me, him.
amazing.
It was me, him, and Nile Rodgers.
Love Nile
What?
Rodgers.
Epic as fuck. Did
Did you get a picture, bro? Now it's a bar.
Nah, I didn't get a picture. I don't think I have any pictures, honestly. I don't even.
Yeah, I don't even think you're on Instagram like that, are you?
I'm on there. I see you niggas.
But you don't post you ain't Rance.
I don't
Rance be posting. I'm like, this
Yeah, I
guy.
see you do that shit like a job, but I mean, and it is a job to an extent.
Yeah.
But
So 3D renderings, anime.
Yeah. So what do you want to do with the 3D renderings? Are we going to see like a cartoon?
That's a good question because that's another part of the essence of the school and why, like I just said, I think you should take them all, is because I learned how to 3D model. I know how to use all this graphic software. I learned how to code. I learned how to do web design, all these different skills. And one is because I like learning things, but specifically what happened, I went to this animation studio because I was trying to get like a little short thing animated. And, I walked in there all diamonds and shit, pulled up and whatever it was. And so I asked some niggas how much it costs. And I was like, fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm out of here. What? You're not smarter than me. I'll go learn how to do that shit tonight. And
You just been doing it on your own.
yeah, ever since then I've been learning it. But what came of that is, I've learned so many ways to communicate an idea that's how I
Got it.
am able to go into some of these situations and get funding or get support or get partnerships or even sometimes not even me having to talk to people because I know how to, communicate my ideas in so many different ways.
Because it's tech and art to you.
Yeah, 100%.
So if somebody was to I don't know anything about, my daughter loves anime, first of all.
Yeah, it's because she must be tight.
Yeah, she went to
that's
Laces.
called swag. You feel me?
She's
Hey,
swaggy. What is, like, if I was to jump into anime, what would you suggest? Fuzz, you need to watch this on Netflix or whatever.
Well, it depends on what kind of shit you like because one thing everybody thinks, and to an extent it's true in America, is that cartoons are for kids, but anime it's not for
Like Ghost Speed Racer was considered anime.
Yeah, that's anime. It is.
So that was my favorite thing. I like
That's for
seeing
kids.
cars.
That's something you can watch with your kids. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of anime I'm watching,
Adult.
they're ripping niggas' heads off and pulling. Like I have several, gangster friends that we talk about anime because it's just good. It's not for kids. So some of the stories are so
deep.
Yeah, it's crazy shit.
I need to get into it because I feel like I'm late and I need to watch it.
Is there any hood anime? Like,
They're slowly starting to do black, have more representation in anime, but it's just not a gang. A lot of anime is drawing from their environment, their city, their culture, and it's just not a whole lot of niggas around them, so they not.
Boondocks is not anime though.
Boondocks is for sure. It's anime style because anime is just animation. But yeah, that could be considered an anime.
All right, so I did watch Boondocks.
Yeah, Boondocks is fire too. I
love Boondocks.
Boondocks and Black Jesus. That's not an anime, but
they need to bring it back. Would you want to be a character on Boondocks?
100%. What?
Pooh, DJ Pooh, we calling you.
Oh,
We're gonna make that happen.
Yeah, let me in, baby.
Man, so
I got the hair. I'm ready.
do you have any kids? Do you?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh,
But yes.
Can't deny the kids.
okay.
But my whole, like, you said something about Instagram is like, you know, and people have been reminding me of this lately. I keep my personal shit personal. Like, yes, I do have kids, but you know, you will only know that you will only know many things about me if you know me. You know what I'm saying? So that's just it. So maybe I have one, maybe I have 7.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe they're outside.
We don't know.
Right now.
Let me ask you this. So
with baseball bats.
When does it? When have you? There's sometimes I've seen writers. I'm like, they want to jump out and be an artist. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh no, don't do that. I'm not. You know, it's not good. Like, what is that? Like, why is it sometimes the writer want to come out? But I know you're a part of a group. We'll talk about that project, which I thought was clever. Let's actually just talk about it. Cocaine 80s. Mm-hmm. Explain to because you guys were.
That still answers that other question you were making though. But go ahead, what were you saying? Yeah,
I just because you became an artist, but it was inside of a collective of James Fauntleroy, No ID, Common. That was the main 3 on the first Cocaine 80s project. And if I'm not, you know, I know they're all my homies, but I remember you had to send out a tweet to get
pay with a tweet,
right? You had to send out a tweet to get the link for the project. So you share a tweet,
and then
you get
a tweet.
You get the link.
That worked too. It was tight.
And that was the only artist I've ever did that I knew of on that level. That, you know, it was kind of like I showed off. I'm sharing this now. I get the link.
It was almost like Clubhouse before Clubhouse.
It was super early. Do you think we'll see another Cocaine 80s project?
You gotta ask Dion when you bring him on the show because.
We just literally talked to him.
Yeah,
right
when he got here. Did you ask?
I said, you know, I'm gonna talk about cocaine. Yeah, bring it up. You should bring it up.
Oh, well, I'm ready. So it's Cocaine 80s is a way of life more than anything. And to answer your question about writers being artists, I feel like, you know, an artist is just someone who makes art. So what we mean is a recording artist, which is a huge gamble. You sacrifice a lot of things if you happen to become successful. But also, when you start getting success, it starts creating a lot of limits for you as an artist. And so Cocaine 80s was about the opposite of that. It was just...
You guys are doing whatever you guys want to do.
When I'm working with someone else, no matter how much freedom they give me, there's some kind of parameter I got to work within.
Right.
Versus if I'm writing something for myself...
Sky's
I can do whatever I want. I can talk about whatever I want. I can sing however I want. You know what I mean? Because, like, even if it's the best singer in the world, if I do, like, 800 parts and they're all complex as shit, and who's going to really want to sit there and do all that for 7 days? They might do it, you know? But so with that in mind, I don't make my songs so complex that you can't re-sing them when I'm working with somebody else. But if it's my song, or if I'm singing, then I just have another layer of freedom.
So do you feel like you have to dumb your creativity down for
other artists?
For artists.
Well, I think we use the phrase "dumb down," but something I tell people all the time is, I might say that to you at the Revolt.
Yeah.
One thing I tell people all the time is that people have always been stupid from day one. When the first human stood up, it was a dumbass nigga that stood up right next to him. So it's been stupid people for all time. So
the giddy up.
We always think popular music has to be dumb, but Stevie Wonder was popular when it was dumbass niggas everywhere. Prince, Mozart, all this complex shit. They were less smart. They didn't even have Google, these niggas. So
right.
They were as dumb as it gets, you know, damn near as dumb as it gets.
I gotta ask you this question.
And so it's not dumbing it down that I have to do, but it's much harder to whittle it down to being of the most use to the consumer. So when we're doing Cocaine 80s, because I say that all the time, consider the listener all the time. You gotta consider the listener, but or as a business person, you gotta consider the client. But when I was doing my shit, then I don't have to care about none of that. It's
just doing it.
I'm just expressing.
Can you explain to everybody what the artwork for Cocaine 80s look like?
The Alice in Wonderland. Oh, Alice with the sugar on her face. Well, like, I don't condone cocaine, okay, you guys. But why we call it that? Dion came up with the name is because First of all, it's dope. That's why we were calling it that. That's what it means. It's dope shit. But what we were talking about when I decided to use the name he came up with was that in that time in the 80s, pop culture or urban pop culture, which is pop culture, was way more focused on being tight instead of being rich.
Yes.
Where now you could be the corniest nigga, you know, in the
Papered
field,
up.
in the cornfield, and if you got on the right whatever, and your whole entire matching Louis Vuitton outfit, and all these different ways to say I have some money. And now we consider you cool, where when everybody was on this playing field of everybody broke, now we got to figure out how to turn them earrings into a necklace, how to write on them sweats that, you know what I mean, to make your shit look different, how you going to fold your sleeve or just do something to stand out and be cool. And so that's what that project was about.
Cocaine 80s.
Man.
I want to ask James your top 5 songwriters. Because you just mentioned Stevie Wonder.
That's one. Stevie Wonder, Prince, Babyface, Rod Temperton, and then I'm trying to think of somebody from today's group of people. It's a lot of my peers that I love their writing, so that would probably be another list. But The Dream is somebody that who he probably wouldn't think that I would love his writing like that.
Yeah, Dreams are
we're so different.
Yeah.
But I really think he's a genius. Like, the shit he be doing is like, and the proof for that is that there ain't nobody else that could do that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when he was popular and everybody was, niggas was like talking shit because it was like, it seemed like he's just repeating words. And people in the streets and people that don't do this shit, but day one, I was like, no, y'all niggas is wrong. There's something special about this. And then I also knew because I would go in the studio and try to do that shit, and it didn't sound the same.
He got the sauce.
So that's why I don't have too many songs that got that sound like that, because I know that I don't know what the fuck that nigga is doing. So I'm going to put him as 5 on my list.
Because you enjoy it. Now,
I love it. What?
Has there been a artist, like the time I met Michael Jackson, I was starstruck. Like, have you ever been in that position where you had to work with somebody you really admired or grew up listening to? You like, I can't believe I'm in the studio with this.
I, up until like a month ago, I would have said no. 15 years in the game, I do not get starstruck because, like I said, I've been through a lot of shit before I start doing this. I don't give a fuck about these niggas at all. I just want to get some money and make something tight. And then some of them I like, and they like me, and we know when we like each other. But
He's my kind of guy.
just like a month ago or something, Terrace had me come do a song with Kim Burrell, who is, in my opinion, the greatest living
Vocalist.
singer.
Wow.
And I just can't believe it. That was the most starstruck I ever been. You know, like the other day, randomly Stevie Wonder called me on the phone.
What?
And I know that sounds amazing and crazy, but that does not happen to me typically.
Was he working with Baby Dub?
He just calls me on the phone. Then he calls Kim Burrell on the phone. And then it's just the three of us talking on the phone for like 30 minutes. So that was insane because Stevie Wonder, you know, like I started writing for money. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Keep it 100. Just keep it 1,000. Wow.
But the song that made me feel like I wanted to be a songwriter was All in Love is Fair, that's a Stevie Wonder song. So Stevie Wonder was the first song that I heard was like, oh, I think I could get into this. And then Kim Burrell was the first singer I studied, which I didn't grow up singing at all. I didn't grow up in church.
You didn't grow up in church?
None of that. I went to church because of singing, and the first song that I sang was a Kim Burrell song.
In church?
Yeah.
What?
100%. Hardest
Kim Burrell's
singer
one
you
of the
could
dopest.
possibly try to sing, by the way. So, like, I really think that's how I managed to still be able to sing, even though I didn't grow up singing, was because
So it's sentimental to you, too.
first song was so hard.
Are you tripping when
That's tough, 'cause she's-
Stevie Wonder calls you? Like, is it like he doesn't call you often, or?
Well, he had my number, you know, because I've met him a couple times.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wasn't working with him the first time I was like kicking it with him, but that was a time where I was also mildly starstruck because he's the
It's
best.
Stevie Wonder.
So I was sitting in his
Every
living
black
room.
household had that.
You seen that? You seen him play that box
Yeah.
with the strings, little music
Yeah.
machine, whatever the fuck that is. So I'm sitting in his living room. We about to talk about, honestly, we're talking about some business, something different. That's what we're supposed to be talking about. And so I'm sitting there, and this nigga is doing this, playing this music out of heaven, and I'm just like crying and drooling, looking at this nigga. like, what the fuck? And then he says, "You gonna say something?"
You like, bro, like, what did I say?
That's what I was like. I'm sorry, Mr. Stevie Wonder, sir.
Mr. Stevie.
I don't know what I was supposed to say right now.
Exactly, the GOAT.
So those two, ironically, are probably the only times I ever felt starstruck, because I know these niggas they just regular people. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Is it like albums that you haven't worked on that like you're excited? You know, some new albums come out. You're like, yo, I need to listen to that artist. Is there any artists out there that you still
of the new people?
Yeah, like, you know, like
not really, to be totally honest. Like, and it's not necessarily anything about them, but it's because part of my process is developing my own shit. You know what I mean? Like, I've had so much success, even though a lot of people sound like me now, but I've had so much success being unique that I'm like constantly trying to figure out how to continue to be unique. Like, how do I change so if you listen to my old shit compared to what I'm doing now, it's night and day different. It's some things that survived the experiment process, so I still do them, but you know, I spend a lot of time thinking about that. And also I love the sound of silence, because I make music for a living, so I don't really be wanting to, you know what I'm saying? Plus, I sit in the studio, like, I think about this all the time. I be like, you know, in regular life, you listen to an album, you in the mood, you put it on, you about to make love, you about to make spaghetti, whatever you about to do.
It's a vibe.
You got your music for that.
Yeah.
And music is the only place where we have to sit down and listen to like a whole album worth of shit that we wasn't planning on listening to right now. And so, like, also a little bit of that makes me not want to listen to nobody's shit.
So when you're in the car, what do you listen to? Bunch of old
Silence.
Okay.
Yacht Rock Radio on Sirius.
Yeah, that's a bar. Kenny Loggins,
yeah.
Christopher Cross.
Classical music, dance hall. Silence is number one on the charts in the James car, or whatever song I have just done. Listen to what I like or don't like about it.
Do you remember the first song that somebody was mimicking your style? Like,
Ooh,
what?
Wow,
Is that dry
really
snitching?
good question.
That's a good one.
Well, there was a couple
Inglewood.
songs that popped up on the internet, because I have hundreds of songs on YouTube. I didn't put like 99% I didn't put up there. That's a whole nother story of the music business getting hacked, which I saw coming, because I'm a computer nerd, so I knew it was gonna happen, but it was nothing I could do, honestly. So there are some songs on the internet of people who sound so much like me that the hackers put my name on it, because
What?
and I've been contacted by these people. These is real like computer hackers / diehard R&B fans. Like, I had a nigga somebody from Germany send me a picture of all the songs he had stolen from people's emails, and he was like, but these 10 right here, these are my favorites. I'm not gonna leak these because these are just for me. This is just me and you.
What? The hacker hit you directly?
He hit me. He even like figured out how to give my. At the time it was when iChat was really a thing.
Yeah.
So you had a screen name still. So the nigga found my screen name. Was like, hey, what's up? I know this is you. Send me a picture of his file folder with like, it was like 70 songs.
Yeah.
And then he put a rectangle around the ones that he was keeping just for him.
Everything else, I'm releasing the dragon.
Yeah, it was out, because what I realized is that why they were stealing the songs was because they were putting them up on download sites and making money off the ad revenue from the other fans going. So it was actually money being made.
Man, James Fauntleroy. I'm like, thank you. I want. Can I get a free scholarship to this school? See how I said that part?
Absolutely.
You see that?
Yeah,
you said it on
closed
camera.
mouth don't get fed on FAQ.
Yeah.
That's right.
You want to take this courses for us?
Yeah, man. Come on in. You guys are welcome anytime you
I
want.
love that spot.
I want to make some songs.
Yeah, come on,
My
dude.
girl Ricky's always asked me to write her a song. She wants me to write her a song. And
You should, man. That's love, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should do that. And I'm the jewelry. We didn't even talk about the jewelry. You know, he makes jewelry.
He makes his own jewelry.
Yeah, you know, something like.
He has a ring that looks like a Green Lantern or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, with the lights in it.
The lights in it.
They
See?
told me it couldn't be done when I tried to get it. Now niggas is out here. Like I literally, like obviously I didn't invent enamel, but like I was the first person I ever seen with enamel on jewelry. Period. And now
Is that
it's
expensive
on
to do?
everybody's chain.
Enamel?
Yeah, it's the labor because this nigga got to do it by hand. And so this was especially expensive because there's spheres. So usually when you see enamel, it's poured on something flat like this.
Right.
But doing it in a ball, these niggas really went ham. The enamel board.
What is that piece called? Do you name it?
This is a Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
And these are Pokeballs.
Pokemon's is near and dear to you.
Well, not only do I love it, but like everything I have like this is to remind me of. It's all related to money. Pokemon is very lucrative. Like Disney is the most valuable IP brand on earth, but Pikachu is the most valuable single character. So the amount of money they make, I'm just really obsessively studying every IP that's intellectual property for those of you at home. Everything IP related.
I'm surprised you don't live in Japan.
I got shit to do. But if I didn't, I would be in Japan.
I bet you would be.
Because I love it.
Because sometimes you walk in 1500, there may be there's like a 3D statue. Hologram or something.
Really?
I know it's him. That's James.
From shootouts in Northridge.
Shootouts to holograms. The story of James.
You are an interesting fellow. Thank you for stopping by, man.
Yeah, of course, man. No problem.
This was dope, man.
Probably gonna leave here and work with. You got a session today?
I do have a session today, but I'm just gonna go work on some artists from Japan. Actually, alone when I leave here. Actually, between now and then, I gotta go do some more 3D modeling. So
Wow.
All right.
Well, look,
Good.
man. James
Thank you,
Fauntleroy,
man. James Fauntleroy, everybody.
Let's give it
James
up, man.
Fauntleroy.
We appreciate it, man. FAQ Podcast, please subscribe on YouTube. Please subscribe.
Like, follow,
on Instagram.
share.
Like, comment, like, Instagram. All of that stuff, man.
All that.
FAQ
Please, thank you,
Podcast.
James.
James
yeah, of course.
Fauntleroy.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.